Welcome to Gasma Creations. I make ink drawings and today I want to show you a drawing that I made of Wednesday from Netflix. I've seen the show and I really loved it, and the short actually did pretty well here on YouTube, but maybe you want to see it in a slower pace, so let's get into that. I did speed up this video because otherwise it would be too long, and my experience is that people just don't watch it because, well, it's boring. While you watch, I'll answer some questions that I often get. Why do you draw with both hands? I have no preference for left or right. As a kid I thought you could just choose if you're left or right-handed in school. I just write because most kids did. But when I got bored I just switched to left for a while, and I ended up switching back and forth without teachers really noticing. Maybe they mentioned it once, but I don't remember much of it. I believed everybody could just switch easily between left and right, and I was already a teenager when I realized that wasn't the case. I kinda assumed that I'm ambidextrous, but it's never examined with a brain scan to confirm it. But do I need to? I know I use both hands for multiple tasks, that's enough for me. For art it's not important which hand you use, because in my opinion art doesn't come from your hands, it comes from your soul together with the creativity that comes from your mind. Our hands are nothing more than a tool. Okay, next question. Can you teach me how to draw with my left hand or right hand when you left? No, I can't teach you how to draw with your left hand, but you can. There's no tutorial that can teach you this, there's no shortcut. If you want to learn to draw with your non-dominant hand, you gotta practice. Do the same drawing exercises that you would normally do, but use the other hand. Draw shapes and lines, and over time you'll get more used to the feeling of using that hand, if you're ambidextrous or not. You can also try writing. If you want to learn, the only way is to do it often. But ask yourself, why do you want to learn? When it brings you joy, then you should go for it, but make sure that it doesn't take away the fun of doing art. There is a chance that the learning process can be frustrating. What I mean to say is, you have to do what feels good to you. If you want to learn this just to get eyes on your art, it can take away from what you're actually capable of making when you just use the hand that you're most comfortable with. Like I said, it doesn't matter which hand you use, because that is not where your art comes from. Can you really draw two different drawings at the same time? Yes, I can, but it's not as impressive as you think it is. I usually start the drawing simultaneously, but often I zone out on one and then forget the other hand. So I often need to refocus and continue with both. Drawing like this takes away a lot of the quality. Just take a look at those sketches and compare them to my regular work. You'll see that the double drawings are messy and much worse. They're far from what I'm able to make. And though it gives a cool video, the drawing itself is kinda useless, and I'm often not satisfied with the result, because I know I can do better. This is also why I make them less, because at the moment I'm focusing on improving my art. I'd rather work with both hands on one piece, like this Wednesday drawing that you're watching now. Do you always draw with both hands? I use both hands, but not always at the same time. I like using both hands for faces, but just as often I only work with one. And which hand that is depends on which part I'm working on or the direction, so I alternate between hands. I recently started working with a dip pen, and since I only have one of those, I constantly switch between left and right, and that is okay too. And then I also use brushes. With the smallest brushes that I use for more detailed drawings, I prefer to work with one hand. Brushes are very sensitive to pressure, and with both hands I can't control the pressure on each side very well. I don't have a steady hand at all, no matter which hand, so working with a tool as delicate as a brush is already difficult on its own, let alone using two at the same time. I would need to give up too much of the quality. I have tried it a couple of times with the pencil brush pens, and some of the pieces look good, but they would have looked better if I would have focused on one hand at a time. And that was it. If you have any more questions, please drop them in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider to subscribe. It really helps the small channel grow. I also have a Patreon, and I'll link it down below. Apart from the tiers, I also offer free public downloads every now and then, so even if you don't sign up, it still can be worth it to check it out. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you with the next one.